Pandora Beneath the Paradise has been a whirlwind drama, full of many twists and turns which makes it highly unpredictable and thrilling for the fans of the drama. The final episode for Season 1 aired today, leaving fans with more questions than answers and speculations about a second season. When fans thought that Jaehyun, who is arguably one of the most handsome villains, had finally met his comeuppance, we were slapped with an unexpected twist at the end. In this game of wits and secrets, we are yet to name a winner. Obviously, this is a dark drama that glued most viewers to their seats as there were many twists and thrills. But some left it halfway due to the same reason and what some deemed overacting by the actors. It wasn't without flaws, but it made for a good watch. Today, I'm going to explain, review and recap the final episode of Pandora Beneath the Paradise. Make sure to stick to the end for a complete review and my thoughts for a possible Season 2. But first, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell to be among the first to see our content. At the end of episode 15, we saw Tira stir their car over the bridge in an attempt to destroy Hong Tira, whom Jaehyun had created. For some stroke of luck, they both survived the dive. From thenceforth, the drama gets tricky. Jaehyun loses consciousness after checking on Tira and winds up in a hospital with handcuffs. The writer took us unawares by making us think that Jaehyun was finally paying for his sins in prison. What pointed to a possibility of a twist was how easy it was for Jaehyun to break out of prison in search of Tira and how everybody didn't know of Hong Tira or his daughter Jaehyun. He confronts Jaehyun and Tira, who were married and living in his home, but was gunned down by the police, only for him to go back to the time before he lost consciousness. I think here, Jaehyun was living out his worst fears. If you recall, Tira and Jaehyun had met on a plane to Korea before Jaehyun and Tira married. From that encounter, you can tell that there's chemistry between them and Jaehyun was definitely interested in Tira. I believe Jaehyun had suspected so too, and that was why he suddenly introduced her as his girlfriend at the time. Maybe, had Jaehyun not manipulated Tira the way he did, she could have ended up with Jaehyun. This would have been their reality, happily married with a daughter. After the next scene, where Jaehyun was hung for his crime, only to go back to the time before he lost consciousness, making it the second time he died, we get to understand what was going on. Apparently, after Jaehyun carried Tira out of the water, he was injected with a chip that made him appear dead for 24 hours. This scene was a bit flawed. How did Dojin know to be there by that time and to come with a syringe? I understand it was planned, but how could they have predicted that both Jaehyun and Tira wouldn't die in such an accident? And how Tira pretended to be unconscious until he was injected. It happens that this time, Jaehyun didn't smell the rat close to him. Tira was able to convince Jaehyun's mother of his demise by playing the voice record between Jaehyun and Sang-Yoon. She also showed her the video of Sang-Yoon attempting to kill Jaehyun the first. If you recall, Sang-Yoon had insinuated that Dojin was the one behind Jaehyun's accident, while he had been the culprit all this while. All this made Jaehyun's mother attack Sang-Yoon, who is eviler than we thought. We can see him struggling alone on the floor as he bleeds out from his wound. This was another unconcluded end in the drama. From here on, we don't know what happened to him. Did he die from the attack? Did he survive? If he did, what punishment did he receive for all his atrocities? This was where the thoughts of a possible second season starts to take hold. Back to Jaehyun, for some reason, Tira, Jaehyun, Dojin, and Haesuk thought that using Hatch on Jaehyun to manipulate his memory was a better punishment than going through legal means. They made him dead to the public and decided to keep him in a lab for the rest of his life. Seriously, what were they thinking? Instead of handing him over to the police, they decided to spend the rest of their lives watching him in a lab. They never factored in that anything could happen, and they were indirectly giving him a clean slate for a new identity since he is dead to the public. We finally got to see what happened in the burned lab and how Jaehyun survived. Sejong had led them to an emergency escape tunnel but passed out before they could go through it. Then Jaehyun, Tira's brother, decided to stay behind to keep the door closed so Jaehyun could escape the fire. This was another scene that didn't make sense. Why would he decide to stay behind when they could have both run up the tunnel to escape the fire? By the way, Jaehyun was just at the other side of the door when the blast happened, but he still survived with some burns. I guess the writers didn't know what to do with him after that scene. How were they going to make him atone for his sins? If you recall, he was the one that pulled the trigger that killed Haesu's father. So they had to close his chapter so Haesu and Tira could move on. Haesu and Dojin decided to quit their marriage but remain good friends. Dojin still has a torch for his wife, but it seems they can't move past all they've been through, as their families are involved. Min Youngwi finally found out where Jaehyun was holed up and visits him. As she tries to persuade him to leave with her, Jaehyun wakes up due to an error in the system, caused by liquid falling into an extension. As Jaehyun tries to hit unsuspecting Jaehyun with a chair, his mother takes the hit and passes out in Jaehyun's arms. Jaehyun goes back to his house looking for Tira but found Haesu instead. When Donjin hears of Haesu's abduction, he goes to the airport to get Tira, who was leaving Korea for Switzerland with Jio. She ends up sending Jio alone and goes to Jaehyun, hoping to save Haesu. This was another glitch in the drama that didn't make sense. How did Dojin end up with Haesu? And why did Jaehyun pretend that Haesu was a mannequin? I guess this is one of the things that will be explained in a second season. Jaehyun's obsession with Tira is so unhealthy that he brings her to where he saved her, just to be with her for a last time. What didn't make sense was how Tira was ready to die with him when she could have easily taken the gun from him, as she is a trained assassin. Jaehyun shoots himself in the head and falls off the cliff. 1 year later in Switzerland, Tira gets a visit from Jaehyun, who looks all healed from the fire scars. But what really has viewers more confused than ever, is that he has the thunder scar Jaehyun had gotten the night he killed Hong Yura. What's more, his face turns to that of Jaehyun. From this, we can tell that there will possibly be a second season. Maybe Jaehyun had gotten plastic surgery to look like Jaehyun. But why Jaehyun? He could have changed his face to anybody and found his way back to Tira. This could mean that he had done something to Jaehyun to steal his identity. And this could have something to do with Hatch. What do you think of this drama? Do you want a second season? Let me know your thoughts in the comment below. If you like this content, give it a like, share, and turn on your notification bell for all things K-drama. Thanks for watching, bye.